Welcome to SportsTernity podcast. We talk about all current events with sports for athletes, for young athletes. I started this because a lot of people are like, it should be a fraternity, sorority for athletes. A lot of things are going towards social media and it's going away from the typical management agent type of flow. So this right here, you're getting everything in one. You can get training, you can get advice, and just be able to present yourself better to colleges, high schools, and represent yourself better. So with me right now, I have
Adiko Kaziboni. I currently work at Rosemont College as academic coordinator for student athletes. I also am in a master's program for higher ed, student affairs administration. Before that, I was a teacher for about 10 years, high school teacher with business and technology.
Okay. What made you get into this?
So I always enjoyed working within education, just like working with young adults. But I think I actually got into it because of sports. So I got done playing college soccer, and I always kind of knew I wanted to do something working with young adults. And one of my coaches, actually, who I played for, had me come coach them at a high school that I was coaching at when I was still playing in college. That's how I got into coaching. But then after that, I kind of stuck with it. And when I got done with college, I was like, you know what? What's a way I can actually stay work with young adults? And I went back for my master's degree. That was like a teaching certificate, like teaching license. So really I was going more for the teaching license. But it just happened to also have a master's degree connected with it too. So once I got done with a lot of things that I wanted to do within teaching and moved over here in Pennsylvania, I wanted to transition over to more student advising with student athletes, because I realized, kind of like we were talking about, a lot of the student athletes don't always see themselves as something besides an athlete. Wow. So I wanted to connect with students, especially young adults, and show them that they're more than just an athlete. You know, they can do more than just do sports. There's more to them besides what they're doing on a court or on a field.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Do you have a website or email that you can be contacted?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm more email. I think I would want to have like a website set up once I kind of have more of a defined space that I want to specialize in within student advising. I know I want to work with student athletes, but I also know I like to work with just like everyday students. But like in terms of like email, people can always like reach out at arikoekaziboni@gmail.com. So I mean, that's usually the one that I check all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. All right. Welcome back to SportsTernity Certified. How y'all doing today? Today our topic, we're talking about what are your thoughts on athletes do and don't, what they do and don't they do on social issues?
Okay, so you're talking about just like big issues, like when it comes to, let's say that in the U.S.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So you're saying what they do and don't do?
For instance, like you had the Caucasian young kid. I don't remember what state it was, but he was protecting his parents' business.
Yeah.
And was shooting at a couple of young African Americans.
Yeah.
I think he might have. I don't think he killed them. He hit them, struck them, whatever. But he walked past cops and said nothing to him, and he was a minor. So a lot of athletes spoke up on it, a lot of athletes didn't.
Yeah.
Do you think they have a right to, or you think, hey, you don't want to say nothing, don't say nothing, mind your business?
That's a good question. I always think when it comes to athletes, depending like where they are, they probably have like their own little brand or big brand that they're trying to protect. So I think even like right now, when you think about like the big athletes, what they speak out about or what they don't speak out about, I I think that's like a really tough question to have one answer for, because I think every athlete might have like a different situation as to why they might not necessarily say something or why they might say something. But I always think there's certain things that you can't necessarily ignore. So I think at some point you have to think more about, okay, what is it that you stand for and what is it that you don't necessarily stand for? And for the athletes who actually are okay being vocal about something, I think for me that's a good thing, because it shows, okay, you are willing to lose something in order to stand for something, right? Whereas like some athletes, I think they think more, okay, this doesn't affect me, so I'm not necessarily gonna talk about this thing, even though I know it's like a thing that affects people that are around me. But that's a thing though that happens like even outside of athletics, right? You have people who, oh, this situation is happening in that neighborhood, so I don't care about that because it's not in my neighborhood. So then as it gets closer to the neighborhood, they still don't care, and then they only care once it gets to their neighborhood. So I always think that it's important, if I were an athlete who had something that was going on, I think it's important to speak on something, but to like look into those topics, right? To look into what's actually going on, and then have informed discussion about those things, because I don't think it's good to just wait until something only affects you to speak out about those things. I think if you see something that's going on that affects a lot of people, you should speak out about those things, not only when it affects you, right? Because at some point, it's like you can't always just like say, okay, this doesn't affect me, so it doesn't matter. Then when it affects you, you expect everyone else to jump in and say something. I think we should always try to make it a point to learn about different things that are going on and then speak on them from facts and like knowing, okay, this is what's going on, and be okay losing things. Be okay losing maybe a few, you know, for young people, I think sometimes like about followers. It's like be okay losing followers for the sake of like being someone who stands for something. Because I think even when you lose some people, you're actually going to gain some other people who actually say, okay, this person, I didn't necessarily like them as much, but now that I know they actually are willing to stand for something, I'm going to pay attention to this person more. So I think it's okay to speak on things, and sometimes you have to lose a few things in order to actually show that you actually stand for something significant.
You don't stand for anything, you'll fall forever.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's crazy that you brought it up. And as soon as you brought it up, I was thinking it's okay for athletes to say, because a lot of times they get bombarded with questions in the media, and they're not very knowledgeable at the time. So it's okay to say, "Oh, I don't know right now. Hold on, let me look through my research and I get back to you." For instance, the Kyrie Irving situation, and LeBron spoke a little too fast because I don't think he really knew what was going on. And then he kind of backtracked a couple days later. And kind of was defending it. So it's like sometimes you're like, oh, I don't know. I get back to you. Let me research. I get back to you.
But I think that's hard though for people to just say, oh, I don't know this. I think it's hard for us as people to just be okay saying, oh, I don't know this right now, but I'm gonna look into this more and like get back to you.
What's wrong with that? Instead of putting yourself into a hole.
I always think that as people, we always want to seem like we are knowledgeable about everything, even if it's something that we don't necessarily know. We still want to be able to talk about it without actually saying anything specific.
But we're humans. You have a lot going on. All right, you're a professional athlete. You're training, you're practicing, you got film study, and you still got a family.
I think it's for LeBron. I think he sometimes, in my opinion, is made to almost represent such a big group to where I don't know if LeBron really gets a chance to make mistakes, or if he gets a chance to always have that grace to do certain things, because I think he's always made to have a perfect answer every single time. But I think he should be okay saying, oh, I don't know about this thing. Let me look into this a little bit more. So I can only imagine if LeBron doesn't always get the grace to like maybe get a chance to like look into something more, then anyone else not as good as him,
Yes.
they probably
We put too much on humans.
Yeah.
Man. Too much. Like he has a lot going on himself. He can't keep up with every single current event that's going on.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think it's too much. I think it's too much.
And he should be okay saying I don't know sometimes. Because like you said, like literally, there are so many things. Any reporter can ask him any random question
Out of nowhere.
and he has to have an answer, because if he doesn't have an answer, it might almost come off as though he doesn't care about that particular thing. When it's like, no, like you said, like he has a family, he's a professional athlete, he has a lot of different things that are going on. For him to be in the know
during the season, he got film study.
Exactly, he can't be on the know of every single thing.
Right.
He can't answer questions about what just happened in a game, plus what's going on in some other place that's far away from him, and have a perfect answer for every single thing. So yeah, we have to give people grace to just be like, okay, he doesn't know about this one, it's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe now that I asked him, next time I can ask him, and hopefully he might have something better. But yeah.
Word of advice.
Yeah.
Just say I don't know.
Exactly. It's okay to say I don't know. I'll get back to you later.
It's cool.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for watching. SportsTernity Certified. Make sure you subscribe. YouTube.com.